health numbers. The Office of National Statistics is here. Getting rid of the internal combustion engine by 2030. That's doable, that's viable, everyone's committed to it, Jamie.
Well, of course not, Mark. It's absolute nonsense. Obviously, it's talking about the ban of the sale of new cars in 2030. So people who've got kind of their diesel and unleaded cars will still have them on the road, and we still have petrol stations there. But there's a couple of factors here, Mark. That the cost of the electric cars got to come down significantly to make it affordable for people who can't afford the excessive numbers that it costs to buy these cars. But you look at this winter now, where are we going into in the UK? We've got, struggling to generate enough electricity because we've got to use a lot of gas. The cost of all of that is costing us an absolute fortune. So that's just to run the lights now. So where's all this electricity going to come from by 2030 to power all the electric vehicles? That's the first question. Secondary, where's the charging points going to be for a lot of these homes that are kind of terraced houses or high kind of class box, high tower box and things? It's just not going to be there for us, Mark. So I think it's fantasy land, and all Liz Truss needs to come out with. I think people support the move to more greener energy, more greener technology, but these ridiculous kind of targets that have been set, they just need to be more realistic, and then I think the public can buy into them a bit, I think, Mark.
Well, we saw a good example of that just in the last few days in Florida. If you're listening to the radio in your kitchen and you're told that you have to evacuate your town, it's kind of hard to do it if it takes 4 hours for your car to charge. Then you're stuck there and you're going to die in your destroyed house. So there's a reality gap in a lot of this rhetoric, isn't there?
Well, yeah, indeed. The thing is with the kind of the COP26 that we've had and all the previous ones before, Mark, it is having a direct impact on the cost of living crisis. Now, politicians will go on and say it's all about the Ukraine war. That is a factor in some of this. But the thing is, what we've got, Mark, is that countries obviously are signing up at these kind of agreements across these, when they go to COP26, COP27, to come up with cleaner ways of doing the energy kind of across the countries. And what that means is that the global demand for gas has been going up. So more and more countries are competing for the gas. We've had the shock, obviously, with the Ukraine war. That pushes the cost of gas. And what that's done across Europe, we're seeing the huge increases in the cost of gas because countries like India and China are trying to increase the amount of gas that they use. So there's a direct consequence of all of these countries signing up for all of these global targets on the consumer at the end of the day. And, people aren't seeing that kind of directly, but you can't divorce the fact that these climate agreements that are coming up is hitting the consumer, and it disproportionately hits those kind of at the bottom end who consume kind of less carbon, because obviously you look at kind of the rich and wealthy, their private jets, they're flying off across the world and making more per person. And it does directly impact kind of the more poorer people who can't afford all the increased costs by the increased demand for things like gas.
Yeah, just to be clear,